A very good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is Rishabh Soni. I am the product manager for UPS Online. I welcome you all today to our webinar, which is titled AI and Blockchain in Logistics and Supply Chain Industry. Before we begin, I would like to really like to introduce all our speakers for the evening. We have Dr. Akhil Damodaran from UPES School of Business. We have Kamlesh Nagware. He is uh, a well-known person in blockchain industry in India. Then we have Dr. Shantanu Trivedi from UPS Online. Little bit bio and introduction for everyone who has joined us. Kamlesh is a TEDx speaker and CTO in blockchain at Snapper Future Tech, and he's also the top 30 influencers of blockchain in India. Thank you, Kamlesh, so much for joining and gracing this evening. And I'm very sure that we are going to have a very impactful discussion around this area.
Thank you, Rishabh.
We also have Dr. Akhil Damodaran, who needs no introduction. Akhil is a highly experienced professional with strong background in telecom, IT, aviation, and education industry. He has a diverse background. He is also a winner of Celebrity 40 Under 40 for Supply Chain Achievers Award in 2021. So his core, connect with this industry has been very, very strong. He's also CEO of Ethereum, which is a blockchain smart contracts firm for public and private partnerships. So Akhil has a strong research background, and he has done his bachelor's in engineering and electronics from RGPV and a postgraduate degree in technology from IIT Delhi. He also holds a degree in competition law from NLA Delhi, and he has done his PhD in management from UPES. Thank you, Akhil, so much for joining us. We also have Dr. Shantanu Trivedi. Shantanu is assistant professor at UPES Online. He has more than 11 years of experience in industry and academia. He has done his MBA and PhD in logistics and supply chain management. He is a regular publisher with reputed journals, including Scopus and ABDC. Shantanu, again, a very impactful profile you have. And congratulations on your Viva today. I just got to hear that. So, kudos to you. So, little about UPS Online for the folks who have joined us for the very first time. Sorry, is someone saying anything?
Rishabh, I also want to have 2 points, if you can, as a humble submission, right? Because I mean, today Kamlesh is with us. I mean, to be very frank, we are much more lucky to be having with him. I mean, Kamlesh Nagware, I want to tell all the audience here, because if somebody has any scratch of understanding of blockchain in India, Kamlesh Nagware is the second or third word in the dictionary of it. I mean, that is how Kamlesh works, and I really, really want to say thankful that he has joined us. I mean, I'm not trying to be humble, or I'm trying to be. The word is buttering him. No, it's not. If somebody really, like, if you look at the dictionary of blockchain, he is at this one, and secondly, he is one of the top blockchain influencers in Asia, not even in India, in Asia. A TEDx speaker himself, and he's a CTO of Snapper Future Tech, and Snapper Future Tech, for that matter, just to tell all of the audience, is one of the largest blockchain companies who are working purely on the supply chain and other parts of it. So, Kamlesh, first of all, it's this panel discussion is more learning from you than we discuss and do something. I mean, for me or Shantanu. No, for me and Shantanu, I mean, whatever we say is more of an humble understanding of blockchain. But to be very frank, we want you to be more allowed and to learn from you. That will help us and the students and other people who are joining in. Over to you, Rishabh. I want to really take this opportunity. Sorry. Thank you.
No, absolutely not. Akhil, that is something which you when in the industry you always need, and when you see people like uh, him joining the league and the discussion, you are very well proud of, right? So thank you again, Kamlesh, for doing this. Little bit for the folks who have joined us just now. uh, UPES Online is a virtue of University of Petroleum Energy Studies, who have positioned themselves in ideology format as University of Tomorrow. Um, our programs in the online vertical are towards general management, oil and gas sector, IT, logistics and supply chain, business analytics, right? Uh, we definitely consider that UPES Online can be a gateway to the world of MBA. And we are thrilled to have you all in this exciting edition of our webinar series. With UPES Online, you will have the access to most experienced and knowledgeable faculty with cutting edge technology and supportive community of like-minded learners. So thank you so much for joining. We do have the 17 plus years of presence in the online vertical through UPS Online, and more than 25 years of existence in the physical capacity. Our campus is situated in lush green environment in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So we are more than happy to share you more details, and we'll be dropping all the details related to our program, university in the chat box. Now, setting the context for the theme of today, AI and blockchain in logistics and supply chain industry, and what impact is this industry really creating, and how influencing it has become now. Uh, Blockchain technology has been used frequently in many industries like healthcare, maritime, education, finance, and cloud computing, smart contract transactions, which Akhil can talk more about, business information, and etc. etc. So this industry has incorporated also the sustainability factor, which has a blend of academia and practice altogether. So, with no more times, really getting into the introduction, if someone can move to the next slide, we will be unwrapping this discussion in the more towards a discussion in a Q&A format. So if I really just open the floor, my first question would be for Kamlesh. Kamlesh, we hear about this industry, like what is blockchain and how it is helping the supply chain, that is the basic fundamental question that we definitely really would want to know from you.
Yeah, sure. I think so. If we basically start the blockchain definition, it start with some kind of peer-to-peer transaction in the Bitcoin, but it offers lots of other things. When you purely use the blockchain, there offers security, it offers consensus, it offers the smart contracts, transparency, and trust. So, it's typically we define blockchain as a distributed ledger technology, and it records the data in a time stamp format, which is immutable. So nobody can delete and temper the data. And it provides the kind of trust on the data. And this is the basic characteristics of blockchain. In terms of using in supply chain, so I think everybody heard about the IBM food traceability, IBM Walmart solution. And there are now a number of blockchain use cases in supply chain. I understand, I think, or use mainly supplier use cases in the three terms. One is the counterfeiting identification. So using blockchain, you can easily identify the counterfeit product and tackle that particular problem. Another is provide the trusted data of any particular product to build the confidence in the consumer. If consumer want to know that product is original or whether it's authentic, they can use the data from end to end and they can verify it. Third, I think, and lastly, you mentioned about the sustainability and the ESG angle. So that is very important, and that's why the sustainable supply chain, circular economy, or carbon credit perspective. So using blockchain, you could create such kind of ecosystem or economy using blockchain very effectively because it provides trust and transparency using the smart contract and distributed ledger technologies. So these three typically use cases are quite active when people are building solution. Even we as a future tech having a one sustainable supply chain platform log trace chain is a end-to-end traceability of any product. Even we could do implement the particular this trace chain to the fashion supply chain to tell food supply chain. Even we implemented in a different kind of use cases for the recycle traceability of plastic. So and that is in India. So whether in academia perspective is not that much detail, but I think there are lots of things happening. If you see the Deloitte research report and other industry report, I think after payment, supply chain is the biggest area where blockchain can apply. So this is my input.
You know, definitely, Kamlesh, really well explained and well said about, the issues of transparency and the authenticity over the connection of the core fields in this particular area. So if we really want to, take this to understand more about, AI and blockchain, and Akhil, this is over to you. We would really like to understand that what is the role of blockchain and AI in driving this particular change, especially when we talk about industries in India, in Indian setting, and the supply chain mechanism, how it is really making a differentiating factor. Please, can you share some light over it?
Okay, so let me start this way. That first of all, if you look at AI and blockchain industry, I mean, they are completely separate industry. I mean, they are mingling in certain places, but they are separated different industry. In AI, if you look at it, it's much more larger industry than blockchain at this moment. I mean, potential wise, yes, blockchain has its own potential, but AI has really gone much ahead of it. Look at from the supply chain perspective, post COVID, I mean, the first and foremost thing which is important for every single industry is that in supply chain, especially if you look at supply chain market today, the disruptions in supply chain, not technological, all the negative disruptions of supply chain is happening because of the COVID. Most of the countries are getting affected, and supply and other things are getting disrupted. And because of it, many of the countries, even America, doesn't have parts, to move forward to. So the first thing, every company or the world itself wants that: what if the next COVID happens? Are we prepared? The only way to prepare is to create a situation where humans are not much involved physically. I mean, that's the only way. So that's the reason AI and all other emerging technologies have become much more an investment portfolio for across all the company. And that's the reason if you look at AI, blockchain, and metaverse and all these things are becoming a very important part, not for just consumer experience. The major reason is if the next COVID happens, we are in such a situation that even if every single person sitting at home, the situation still remains the same, because you cannot afford the next COVID, next supply chain disruption again. I mean, the kind of losses you see, the kind of layoffs which are happening. These layoffs are not because of today. These are the financial debts which are which accumulated in the last 3 years of the startup ecosystem and other even bigger companies for that matter. So this is part of a crisis, and this crisis you cannot afford next. That's one thing. Second thing is what is happening with AI and blockchain. Now let me put this first on AI part. AI is not that it is happening now. For the last 10 years, logistics and supply chain industry is using AI enormously. I mean, starting with Amazon, if you look at it, Amazon's majority of the supply chain network already AI enabled already. Okay. Now, when I say AI enabled, I'm talking about two main things. First is tracking, other is automation. I mean, there are two things, right? One is tracking, other is automation. Tracking is where the tracking and tracing comes, and blockchain comes in picture and say that more than AI, I think blockchain can have a much better aspect in the sense the observation can happen from AI, the capturing can happen from blockchain, and because of it, the ledger can be recorded permanently and it's just immutable and nobody can do it. I mean, I hope Kamlesh, I'm okay with the sense what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're perfectly okay.
Yeah. So third thing is smart contracts. Now, if you look at the supply chain industry, there are major forces which are playing on it. The first important force which really works is supplier. Okay, and every supplier and a consumer, there is an SLA, there are contracts, there are third-party agreements, there are the spare part agreements, expiry date agreements. There are many things which move around more on. All these things are done by many third parties which are involved in it. That is why I'm saying, because there are a lot of cost involved in it. There are cost manpower involved in it. And because of it, there are a lot of physical element involved in it. So I hope you understand the COVID part. So as COVID happens, these things disrupts. You actually cannot do the contract management. You actually cannot manage the SLA. You cannot manage anything out of it. That's why smart contracts comes in picture. I mean, currently smart contract, if you look at it, I mean, Kamlesh can agree with me. Globally, is not correct, completely accepted by everyone. I mean, that's also a part of it, and majority because it also cuts the lawyer revenue. Yeah, I mean that's also one of the reason why nobody likes the other. I mean that's how the world works. But the point is, smart contract if really gets accepted in the supply chain industry, the automation becomes much higher. So AI is actually helping you to actually understand, look at the tracking part of it, observe the things, and get automated. Blockchain really helps in recording and everything, and becomes a permanent ledger. And smart contracts binds everything completely. I mean that binding. So to be very frank, that is how the world is moving forward to. That is how the world in the next last if you look at 2 years, really observed. Now the challenge right now, which I feel is, which I think Kamlesh will put up more on that, is that I think customer acceptance is still in a very nascent stage. That's a bigger problem. And over to you, Rishabh. I mean, I will not take much time. I mean, you tell
No,
us.
no,
Yeah.
definitely, Akhil, wonderfully being put out. And, like talking about smart contracts. And, if we really look at the most functional disability which we face is the, like, for example, the terms like express value, the transparency, the immutability, right, of running these operations for the behind the smart contracts. And
True.
moreover, if you talk about the cyber criminal factor involved into it. Like, for example, when we saw the semiconductor, issue in the LSTM industry, which I think was faced by Apple a lot. Not just Apple, I think mostly all the telecom industry, in telecommunication industry for the mobile phones. When we talk about the semiconductor, I think you can take this reference as a more in more detail, that how there was a shortage of this in the industry, and how even there was this valuable factor which resulted in a lot of disrupting issues, right? So taking that, for our in-house expert, Dr. Shantanu, for you, for academic perspective, what do you think, and how do you think that this is most crucial digital transformation at this stage in the LSM industry, and how these transformations will become a significant in the today's world? Dr. Shantanu, over to you. I think you're on mute.
I think he's not able to mute himself.
You should be able to.
I think he just dropped. Okay.
I think he's
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So let me start with that. Academically, if you see the recent research articles, papers in any of the journals, you will find that it is the blockchain technology or the use of artificial intelligence have flooded. The journals have been flooded, and even the students are more interested in understanding how the AI works in particular sector, how the blockchain works, because that is not just the future, but actually companies are executing and implementing it. You talk about any of the major whether it is e-commerce company or even the logistics company, all these companies are, because adopting AI and blockchain in some way or the other, they need people who are at least somewhere aware of these terms or technologies or concepts at least. So it is not just that academic journals are there or the students are interested in it, but also other parts of the academia or academic world, they are also expanding the awareness with these kinds of webinars, with conferences and other workshops around blockchain and AI, around specifically majorly in terms of manufacturing and service sector. So this is something that we also need to understand, adopt, and to explain it to the future generation or the students, that this is how the blockchain works, functions from end to end, right? Like from suppliers to the customer, how and where you can use and apply blockchain technology and improve upon the supply chain transparency, increase upon supply chain visibility, and with the implementation of AI, how you can improve upon the customer satisfaction aspects. So you talk about Panalpina, Aramax, DHL, or any of the shipping line. They all are using AI chatbots, even chatbots and AI tools are being used quite expressively in all these by these companies as well. So from the academic perspective, it's going to be a part of the academic curriculum moving forward. And because the company is adopting, we need to not just as academician be aware of it, but also in some way or other will be practically using it or and are in fact using it as well.
No, I think definitely, wonderfully put. And, when you talk about, AI, you talk about chat GPT and, the industries and, verticals like, for example, what CX with chatbot integration, the kind of disruption even which they are bringing is definitely, very, very valuable at this system point of view. But again, to carry on this discussion and to ask you, Mr. Kamlesh, how do you really think that AI is going to help the LSEM professionals?
So when we recently see the trends about how the people are using the chat GPT in the different use cases. So I think there are multiple use cases, but I think this demand forecasting is going to be really helpful because you could AI can analyze the large volume of data and it could create the historical sales data, how the consumer is using it, and then it helps the manufacturer or the warehouses or dealers to create their inventory according to the demand forecasting. I think that is the one thing. Another thing, customer service, because how you treat the customer after buying a product or before buying a product. So in that process, AI or ChatGPT kind of tools could be used to create the efficient or effective kind of customer services management. And other could be use cases like in warehouse management, because you could see the inventory levels or the track stock movement, or maybe you could optimize your warehouse inventory. You because analyzing the so much volume of data, you could use the AI, use the some kind of tools, machine learning to create your analytical dashboards properly, and that way help manufacturer or the supply chain professional to use these technologies to build their supply chain management effectively. So I think it is very important for supply chain professional to use the technologies like AI and blockchain and Chat GPT to create their supply chain effectively, and in terms of not just the customer experience, but also streamlining or bring the efficiency in their existing supply chains.
No, greatly put up, and the core crux when you take and you understand from the responses which you have really given to us is definitely a connect between AI and putting it towards the LSCM industry. So again, thanks for that response. But when we talk about this sector and not just India centric, but when we talk about around the world, we also have to look at the global players, right? And in global supply chain industry. So Akhil, to you, if I you really would put this across and ask you that when we talk about the companies like Apple, Tesla, and DHL, how they are managing their supply chain and overall business strategy in Outlook Factor. Please, can you just share some light over it?
Okay, first of all, some of the examples which I have given, Tesla doesn't manage their supply chain. I mean, in the sense, the best way to do it, they outsource everything. Apart from Elon Musk, everything is outsourced. So that's a different supply chain management altogether. Apple supply chain has a lot of AI, but the problem is, again, I'm saying, see, again, when we say that post COVID, how much AI and other things are impacting supply chain, what the case study for Apple or anything, it's not that these companies have not felt the negative of disruptions in supply chain. Even after AI, they have felt the negative. For example, not having a supply from China, even if you have an AI or whatever it is, it's not going to help you anyway. The cross-country issues are still there. But let me give you an example. One of the supply chain, so one of the major supply chain disruptions, if you look at it, happened in the retail industry. Okay, so look at it from the Walmart. What Walmart has done is, if you look at from New York, San Diego, and all these places, they have created a metaverse environment. So what they do in the metaverse environment is their stores are available in metaverse. A person at home can put a VR glass or access the laptop. They can see whatever the store is, products, what are the products are, and how the product looks like, and you can still keep buying it. And through blockchain, what happens is when the price has been quoted from the product, from your credit card, you can do the transaction. That is done by blockchain payment system. Okay. When the transaction happens, the drone arrives, takes the particular parcel from the metaverse, and directly goes to the person directly. I mean, that's not a global accepted AI technology, but right now it is been working in some of the parts of the America, and that has been really going well. Okay. Apart from that, if you look at Bangalore International Airport, let me put it that way. If you look supply chain is not always about cargo. It also about the chain of things by which you're creating value. So from the baggage to the person, the ticketing, the security clearance, to the person getting into gate to the flight. All things are part of supply chain. Because of the COVID, they came with Digiyatra. In Digiyatra, they also use blockchain. So what really happened is your face became the passport. By face, you can they did a lab testing with AirAsia. So if you go to Bangalore International Airport in the AirAsia counter, only in the AirAsia counter, you go there, you see your face in the camera, by
So I
which
think
automatically, yeah.
like it's not just an AirAsia is available on Indigo and multiple airports. I tried on Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai.
So it started with AirAsia. The Digiyatra started with AirAsia. So I mean, if you go to the AirAsia counter, so I mean, you can see the. If you look at the face, by face you can clear out your identity. It takes out the ticket. Your baggage is also being cleared automatically. There is no staff required for that. Okay, so I'm not saying that it's not only Apple, Tesla, and others who are disrupting with it. There are every industry is trying to test. But again, I'm saying it. Like Kamlesh also may agree. All these airports who are trying to implement, they also try to provide consumer the alternative. That is a traditional route. Because again, the point is that even if the AI is increasing, your consumer may not be comfortable all the time. I mean, it's not that you can just clearly or go to the alternative and the next day everything works out. The consumer acceptance is still in a slightly behind what the industry really wants to. I mean, that's the point of it. So if you look at the disruption, yes, there's a case studies. Kamlesh, over to you.
Yeah, so I can add to the point of Akhil about this Digiyatra thing because I have personally experienced in the multiple places. So in Pune, in Pune, I think you just I think every airport, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai, and Delhi even, you just I did my onboarding in just 8 minutes till end to end from airport security checks to till flight onboarding. So it will save lots of time for the consumer, for airlines, and it will create the new kind of efficiency in the existing. Like suppose, let's say earlier they're running 10 flights from each airport. Now they can run 12 because now they're saving 1 hour per flight. And consumer now they need to just they can go 1 hour, I think 30 minutes before and can onboard the flight instead of going 2 hours early.
No, absolutely. And to this point, when we talk about United States, for example, right? Providing the TSA and check and the on gate passes to even the immigrants, for example, which was one of the very biggest of the security concerns issue. And in this, when we talk about this industry, and we talk about the legal implications also, Akhil, you would second with my thought that the role of during the COVID era also, the role of force majeure, right, in this industry and in was so much major, right? And it basically also knocked the doors of the international courts, for example, that how in the LSM industry between the provider and the supplier and the receiver, how this role will take it forward, you know in between. If I, Shantanu, if I really ask you how UPS Online MBA in logistics and supply chain empowers you not just with the fundamentals, but also towards the technicalities which are behind this industry, how would you really respond to that question?
Okay, thanks for asking this question, Rishabh. Let me start with what Dr. Akhil highlighted, that logistics and supply chain is not just about cargo. So, if we try to understand from the academic perspective of what supply chain management is, so supply chain management is managing all three kinds of flows. That is flow of information, flow of material, and flow of finance as well. And there, the flow of finance is the thing where your blockchain technology actually brings up a kind of transparency, visibility, and kind of trust that is required. And the program that actually we offer at the UP Online, the MBA program, covers all these aspects: the flow of finance, flow of information, and flow of material. So all the aspects of logistics and supply chain management are covered in this kind of program that we offer. Second thing that I again agree with what Mr. Kamlesh and Dr. Akhil said, that how the blockchain technology and even AI are helping the airports or the aviation industry. And it is not just a specific industry that is being transformed with these artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, but even if you see from the economy point of view, like how when the government implemented this CBDC, central bank digital currency, it was completely based on the blockchain technology. So people, when they think of, on when they hear first time that what blockchain technology is, the first thing that they comes in their mind is that cryptocurrency. So blockchain technology, from this forum, at least I want to share that it is above and beyond the cryptocurrency. It is a distributed ledger technology, as even highlighted by Mr. Kamlesh and Dr. Akhil as well. So these are how the distributed ledger system works, or let's say how even a ledger entry happens. From that part to understanding how the blockchain works, or how it is applied in logistics supply chain management, is being taught and explained in our logistics and supply chain management program. So
Thank you, Shantanu, for explaining it so well. The one point which I really missed in the past conversation and really wanted to even ask Akhil, since he also understands not just this industry but also the UPS vertical so well. So Akhil, a follow-up question on the LSCM industry around the world and the kind of profiles which you really need to have. Does someone really need to have an IT background and for this particular course, or a non-techie would also be someone who could really, explore this uh, program?
Not only for LSCM, I think most of the technical MBAs today, you may not require a technical degree because everyone needs to know computers now. Let me put it in a single word rather than going here and there. Do you define blockchain? May not be. Do you know how to define Web3? May not be. Do you know how to define metaverse? May not be. But you also don't know how to define internet, but you're still working for 20 years in it. So the point is, it doesn't matter whether you know technicality of these things, you should know how to work on it. And now everyone is working on it. So this is part of the platform. So there is no way. So each and every LSCM, if you look at our program, it's made on purely on the person's management approach towards these technologies. Technicality is made to learn to these people rather than we expect they should come learn. That's not the point here. We expect that they will learn coming here. But as I said, the last line that whether you know how to technically define it, it doesn't matter. You're still working. We all are in internet, right, around, right? But we don't know how to define it. That's it. So it doesn't matter whether technically you know or not. Yeah, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering it wonderfully. Kamlesh, if we talk about, since you come from the core industry, and you have a wonderful experience in core job domains. So when we talk about the job opportunities, right, in this industry, for youth in India, after we talk about the initiatives that we have seen, like for example, Make in India, Startup India, etc., right? And from industry perspective, if I also ask you the skill set which are required, what makes an applicant a must hire candidate for this particular industry?
Okay, so if we see the different initiative by government or like Ministry of IT and Telecommunication or like Digital India program and the NASCOM initiative. So I believe like the how we are growing in terms of the even PM Modi says like this decade is India's tech decade because until till that we are working for the maybe US and Europe economies to solve their business and their technology problems, their supply chain, their banking problem. But now we as Indians now using so much technology and using so much services and businesses, we grown a lot. So there is a time to solve and work for this problem. So I think not just one decade, maybe there are tremendous opportunities for upcoming 3-4 decades because what we have doing for the other geographies from last many years, now this we need to do for the Indian businesses. It could be supply chain, it could be auto, it could be banking. Even we are far better than our payment mechanism other countries, but like telecom, retail, and consumer. So I think there's a lot. So I think using blockchain, using AI, or using digital transformation, there are a lot need to be solved, and there's not the other opportunities available. And I think there are tremendous support from the government, from the Ministry of IT, from the different level of state governments, kind of providing opportunities to create the startup ecosystem. So nowadays, I think when we were doing engineering and the MBA on the time, there is no such opportunity where you could get involved or think about being an entrepreneur in just after graduation or after. But now every engineering colleges or even the private colleges having some kind of incubation center promoting a student to become entrepreneurs or looking for a job. So this is tremendously change, and I think, and that's why there are tremendous opportunities. Even like suppose we only have like 50-60,000 startup in India, it could be become 5 to 6 lakh in next 10 years. So tremendous opportunities, and there's a lot more problem need to be solved, I believe. So as a supply chain perspective, there are tremendous opportunity. You could solve the existing business problem in supply chain using technology, using AI, using blockchain, or because still I think our supply chain maybe not that much efficient, and not just about the efficiency, but there are very new business streams and revenues could be generated using the technologies. So there's a lot of opportunity in the market.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing that point, of the startup ecosystem, also so much, in well associated with this particular industry. Mentioning this, without fail, I should really tell our learners, our prospective learners, that UPS, how, heavily they have invested themselves into innovation via our Runway platform. So our goal through Runway is also to help the brilliant innovators get through the early stages of setting up the startup and reach to a point where they can make a product, they can make a service impressive enough to raise the money around it. So via our, MBA and LSCM, you would also be, entitled to, exploring our initiatives which really happen on campus. So definitely that is something which I really also wanted to highlight. Uh, Carrying this discussion over to Shantanu. Shantanu, you also have mentioned this again before, but to summarize this in pedagogical point of view, how UPES Online Online MBA in LSCM will help the professionals with their degree.
You're mute, Shantanu, you're mute. Shantanu, you're mute.
Actually, he always drops.
I think
Network
there is some
connection.
technical issues.
Yeah,
Apologies for that. Shantanu, over to you. I hope
yeah,
you could hear the question clearly.
yeah. I clearly heard that question, and just wanted to point out that it is not just that academic gyan what an MBA program should have is provided through the MBA program in logistics and supply chain management that we offer at UPES Online, but we provide and conduct many of these webinars or expert sessions or master classes where actually the industry professionals come and share. So people like actually I'm very thankful to Mr. Kamlesh for coming up and responding us in a very short time and sharing his views and thoughts with us and accepting our request for this webinar. And similarly, we have a pool of senior, not only academicians, but also industry experts who come and share their views, their insights, and how actually the concepts of logistics and supply chain management actually are being taught, implemented, and practiced in the on the ground or in the industry. We also keep on updating our course curriculum time to time, and we revise our content in such a way that it actually matches what is the requirement or what would be the requirement of the industry. The important aspect of it is making the students more sustainable. So it is not just we are making the industry sustainable with the help of our education, how best we can do and what best we can do to make the education sustainable is also one of the aspects that we keep on working on. And for this, in fact, we have the entire curriculum divided into the concepts of the functional subjects that we have in an MBA. Then we have the domain tailored subject in an MBA, logistics and supply chain management program, and then we have the domain specific subjects like how you model a supply chain, how you simulate a supply chain, how a lean supply chain functions, or how agility comes in the supply chain, how you can plan or strategize a logistics or supply chain management function. So these all concepts are taught in this MBA program.
Thank you so much, Shantanu, for answering that in such a elaborative manner. Now, looking at the time availability, I would really like to move towards our Q&A. So we do have some good questions which our learners have really put up. And I would really request in no order, Kamlesh, Akhil, Shantanu, whoever is comfortable taking the question, please unmute yourself and uh, give out the response. The two of the questions which I would like to combine from the Q&A box would be, how AI uses digital procurement, and how AI and machine learning are correlated in towards themselves. So Kamlesh, Akhil, Shantanu, whoever would want to take this question.
I think these two questions are answered. I mean, the first one is AI use cases in digital procurement, which I think Kamlesh has already addressed. And AI machine learning elaborate karne ko bola. I think machine learning, if you want to take, Kamlesh, you can take if you want to.
So I think machine learning is like some kind of, suppose machine learning is the branch of the AI only. So in a specific term, you are kind of making machines learn some kind of repetitive task which could be automated. I think this is a very basic simple definition. Like suppose some repetitive task you could train any machine or any device which can be done automatically. So there is machine learning kind of thing. And artificial intelligence is a broader term. You use some kind of generative engine, or whether it is some kind of automation analysis of the any data, and kind of bring the intelligence to the your data points. I think, yeah. I think another question which is open about like how you can use the AI and machine learning blockchain space in the logistics and RFID and GPS. So uh, I think this, if we talk about the RFID, some kind of places on the product you can read and kind of get the information about from the product. And GPS is some kind of location tracking. So I think maybe we require all these technologies to be bundled together to create any effective solution. Like for example, even there are many other, like there's a NFC devices nowadays which can place in any kind of product, and you can record the information in NFC. So I think compared to RFID, and NFCs are key. So that can be used. So I think how you bring that track and traceability using all this GPS, but you want to track the location and how the product is supplied from manufacturer to consumer, and product information via captured in RFID or captured in some kind of QR code or some kind of NFC IDs. And I think this all could create some kind of smart logistics supply chain where you have data point data record in blockchain, and using this data you are uh, showing to the consumer via the QR code, whether RFC, RFID, and using AI to do some kind of analysis, some kind of automation, some kind of kind of inventory forecasting and all this stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that one. Kamlesh, since you are on board with the earlier question, in concluding, if I really would ask you the 3 tips which you would really give to our online MBA aspirants, what would they be?
So I think now we are becoming digital, right? So in the digital education, digital economy, I think first you should first choose the right program and right kind of environment, like UPS or whether it's Harvard or kind of somewhere you have not just the academia or theoretical knowledge, but some kind of industry academia collaboration where you can learn from the industry professional throughout the program. So this is one I think tip. Another, I think, involving the community, involving with the your peer leaders or peer students or professor in a some kind of social environment. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Twitter, because this platform gives you the real insight and real business problems from and how people are solving it. Because you can't learn only from the books and some digital content, but you need to be up to date what is happening in the industry and what is the going trend or next trend, like if there's AI blockchain, whether there's a metaverse, like for example. So because all this information can't be teach any school or any business school, this you need to be uh, kind of create your own understanding and create your own ecosystem, follow the business leaders, follow the influencer in the community who are working in a specific area, and learn from them and apply those understanding along with your uh, academic data, or your your knowledge from your MBA program. I think these two things are, I think, very important, I believe.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that. With this, I think we conclude our Q&A. So I would be moving towards concluding the discussion. Any last points which Akhil you want to make, or Shantanu you would want to make?
No, all things done. I mean, Kamlesh has already concluded it rightly.
Great.
Yeah, I think there is some question by some student that or some audience that future outlook of digital supply chain. So future is digital. Metaverse is a big thing coming up, a big way. Congratulating Dr. Akhil also in launching an MBA program with School of Business UPES in Metaverse itself, and best wishes for that. We look forward for that. Apart from it, even digital supply chain will be visible. Your supplier payments are becoming more transparent, more visible. Central banking digital currency will be playing a major role in not only transforming the industry but also the economy as a whole. So digital transformation in terms of application of metaverse, AI, Internet of Things, bringing more traceability, transparency in the system will be the future.
Perfect. Shantanu, thank you so much for those concluding remarks. Again, for everyone and for the prospective learners, to the panel, to the support group who basically helped to put this webinar, thank you so much for joining. Again, UPES Online is very indebted for the efforts and for your time. Again, to remind everyone, our last date for admissions is 31st March 2023. So we have few hours left before we close our admission cycle. So in case you are interested in knowing more about the program and want to apply for UPES Online MBA in Logistical Supply Chain Management and explore more of our programs, please call our toll-free number, which is 1-800-103-1495, or get in touch with us for more info. So this is Rishabh Soni signing off for the evening. Thank you again for everyone for joining, and have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kamlesh, again. Thank you,
Thank
Shantanu.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rishabh. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you,
you.
and all the best for UPA,
Thank
UPS
Thank
new
you.
program.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.